All right. Errol Spence Jr. Hey, man, for somebody that doesn't know, that is going to be gone for the foreseeable future, he dang sure knows how to tweet. And so does the excellent coach Kevin Cunningham, who both talk about Tim Bradley and the nonsense that Tim Bradley said after the ESPN card at the conclusion of Crawford versus Igis Kalvinakis. Tim Bradley is he's an embarrassment. And he's embarrassing himself. I don't even like Tim Bradley, and Tim Bradley embarrassed me. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, I want to say special thank you to everybody that has joined the channel recently. And you can join the channel here. If you're a member of the LDBC, please accept my invitation to do so on one of the different levels that we have. Also, thank you so much to everybody that supports in the super chat and the Patreon. Make sure you come to OG Boxing Talk this Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with my co-host Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Trap House, and my man Curtis Anderson, the boxing historian. Let's talk about this Tim Bradley stuff, man. All right, so I'm sure you've seen it by now. If you've not, go check out Instagram for Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence told Tim Bradley, man, shut your COONASS up. Shut your coon ass up. With a bunch of laughing. And you also have Kevin Cunningham, one of my favorite personalities in boxing, and I follow on Twitter, man. This guy cuts to the chase. Kevin Cunningham is a coach. I think he's originally out of St. Louis. He's now coaching out of Florida. He's trained guys like Devin Alexander, Corey Spinks. Recently, he was working with Gervonta Davis. He's worked with Adrian Bronner, a guy that is just, well known in the boxing community. Tells Tim Bradley, man, to stop buck dancing, man. Stop buck dancing. It's not going to pay off. It's not going to do you any good. And that's exactly what I think, man. Stop buck dancing, Tim. This shit is so over the top, man. It's so over the top. It's absolutely disgusting. Tim Bradley jumps on ESPN and just loses his mind, dude. First of all, you're pretending, okay? It doesn't come off real. You are trying to be Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas, the guy that calls you Timmy and rubs the top of your head like a little black luck doll. Hey Timmy, patting you on the head, patting you on it. Tim Bradley is disgusting, man. Tim Bradley is disgusting. I sat there when he said. Well, first, let me tell you what he said. He said that everybody in the PB, he called out everybody in the PBC for ducking Terrence Crawford, and the only real man, the only guy with any courage in all the PBC is Deontay Wilder. And I assume because, Deontay Wilder is fighting Tyson Fury, but the rest of them, all of you guys are... Man, Tim Bradley, shut up. You never wanted no smoke with anybody. You re-signed with Top Rank so you didn't have to fight Floyd Mayweather Jr. Not only did you you didn't even want the Floyd Mayweather Jr. money, let alone the fight, because you're gonna get beat up, and you never left your Top Rank bubble. But for Tim Bradley to say that and insult everybody in the PBC, everybody. And he comes on Twitter and says something to the effect of, well, don't get mad at me if you guys say you want these fights and I push the envelope, I push the needle, don't get mad at me. Nah, dude, no, it's fair to be mad at you because you acted a freaking fool. And you just called everybody 200 fighters cowards because they won't do something that you want to do when it's your fault, when it's Terrence Crawford's fault that the fight's not happening. That's the problem. Terrence Crawford signed with Top Rank and he knew perfectly well where all the other fighters are. Terrence Crawford, despite the fact that you think that Terrence Crawford is an excellent fighter, I think Terrence Crawford is an excellent fighter as well. Terrence Crawford is not bringing anything more to the table to these other fighters than they get fighting each other. There's no more belts in a fight for Errol Spence Jr. with Terrence Crawford than there was with Sean Porter. And they fought each other. Why is Errol Spence Jr. a coward when he fights? Because when he fought Kell Brook, when he fought Sean Porter, he fought Mikey Garcia. He didn't ask for the Mikey Garcia fight, but Mikey Garcia moved up and asked to fight him. Mikey Garcia is a tougher fight than even Calvinakis is. Why is it Errol Spence Jr.'s fault? It's Errol Spence Jr.'s fault that he's fought better competition than Terrence Crawford has? Get out of here. And who are these guys? You know the outcome of top-ranked cards before they even happen. Case in point, people were asking me, who do you think is going to win the Teofimo Lopez versus Richard Comey fight? You can check this. You can check my video on it. People ask me, who do I think is going to win that fight? I said, I don't know, because I think Richard Comey's a good fighter. Teofimo Lopez looked a little bit suspect in his last fight with that tall Japanese guy. And even though he got the knockout against Menard, he really didn't look that good to me. He looked like he was just following him around looking for the knockout. But this is a top-ranked card. So since the young guy that they're promoting is fighting for a championship, I'm 90% sure that the young guy is going to fight, because Top Rank will never make a fight unless they know their fighter is going to win. That is the spoken word of Bob Arum. This is an organization that does not make fights unless they know their fighter is going to win, or if they're cashing a fighter out. So all those years of Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, man, Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was offering money to Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather Jr., Bob Arum would not let that fight get made. But in case you don't believe that, go back further and look at the fight between Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. was an in-house fight was in the same stable as Oscar De La Hoya was, calling for an Oscar De La Hoya fight from the time the guy was at lightweight. He might have been doing it since the time he was at super featherweight or 126 pounds, asking for an Oscar De La Hoya fight. But no, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Can't draw flies to a draw flies to a dumpster. He was too small. All of that stuff. So that fight never got made inside of Top Rank. Those two fighters both had to leave Top Rank. Floyd had to leave. Oscar De La Hoya had to leave in order for that fight to get made. That's an example of what happens when you have a fighter like Terrence, when you have a good fighter at Top Rank. Bob Arum is not a gambler. He's not the type of guy that's going to say, hey, I got a good fighter and I'm going to put this guy in against somebody where it's a 50-50 fight. Or even if it's a 55-45 fight, he won't do it. And he has said that, especially for his champions, the people that he think that he can continue to earn money with. Look what he did with Terrence Crawford and Teofimo Lopez. He drew people to watch Teofimo Lopez by having Terrence Crawford fighting a mismatch. That's the MO of Top Rank. But you're going to put it on PBC and claim the PBC, none of those guys want to fight guys in ESPN? And I don't want to hear anything about they worked together for Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Dude, they stopped Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. That rematch should have already happened. But Tyson Fury signed with ESPN after there were already negotiations for a Deontay Wilder fight and after they had already fought one time. That's not a case of somebody that is a legitimately an in-house ESPN fighter who they believe is the best fighter in that division and going out and putting him in there with a 55-45 fight. The problem with the fights not being made for Terrence Crawford is ESPN's problem, is a Top Rank problem, not a PBC fighter, not a PBC problem. And you can look at that with the pattern of fights that have been made or have not been made in in Top Rank for years. They do in-house fights. That's what they do. That's why you see Tim Bradley fighting Manny Pacquiao 3 times. That's why you see Manny Pacquiao fighting Juan Manuel Marquez 4 times. Because those are in-house fights, and that's not gambling for Bob Arum. Bob Arum wins if Tim Bradley wins. He wins if Manny Pacquiao wins. He wins if Manny Pacquiao wins. He wins if Juan Manuel Marquez wins. He wins if Igis Klimas wins. Igis Kalvanakis wins. He wins if Terrence Crawford wins. He wins if Richard Comey wins. He wins if Teofimo Lopez wins. But he knows Teofimo Lopez is going to win because his matchmakers are in the gym with these guys, and he represents both fighters and knows who the better fighter is. They got the best matchmakers in boxing. But so just the idea that somehow ESPN is this bastion of competitive fights that is going out there and making fights where they're risking their fighters out there by making difficult and tough matchups is a lie. You get more of that in the PBC. You get Terrence, you get Manny Pacquiao versus Sean Porter. You get Errol Spence Jr. Manny Pacquiao versus Sean Porter. You get Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, Errol Spence Jr., Mikey Garcia. You get those type of fights when those two fighters want to fight each other because those guys are doing much of their own management and quote unquote promotions. But Tim Bradley, dude, is just out there he's just being a shoe shine boy for these guys. And it's ridiculous. He acted a fool, man. You're doing this impersonation, this Teddy Atlas impersonation, trying to be sensational, trying to get attention for yourself. Man, it's just ridiculous, man. Anyway, it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.